And Dan, it's system done these days. They merged the cardinal sin, which is age not verification? No. AgeDate. They've merged AgeDate. And that sinks the whole ship.
I guess it's a bit of a strange thing to be stuck on, but they are. Well, at least this one developer is anyway. And so they forked it.
Yeah, well, okay, so rewind a little bit. It looks like systemd had merged a commit that would add a birth date value directly into systemd, right? And
optional one.
Well, yes. Yeah, that's a good point to make. Well, we'll say that early to set the stage.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's important.
systemd now has a birth date. So as it was merged, immediately, I think within 24 hours, there was a request to revert that was struck down by King Leonard Pottering himself. He said, "Nay, we shall keep the commit." And that set off a set of events that has led to a forking of systemd, hence stick a fork in it. It's system done. So before we go on, before we get too far into liberated systemd, this is kind of coming off of the same conversation that we've been having for the past 3 or 4 episodes, and we promised you we'd keep tabs on it, and this is us keeping tabs on it. This is the current tab.
It's not going away, and there is something every time we turn around, something new.
Yeah, so sorry if you're sick of it, but this is just so interesting to me. I did not foretell. The last time we were talking about this, we were talking about how the dbus group said, "Nah, this is not a place for the age number or anything like that. So we're just going to close that merge or close that entire."
And they didn't totally dismiss it. Like they said, like maybe not here, but maybe over here, kind of thing.
Yeah, they said the portals, right? Like
they did move it to the portals. Yep.
Right, but now it seems that it may end up in multiple places in Linux. Yeah. The portals may still take this on, but for what it's worth, systemd has added, and all they added was a birth date field, as Dan mentioned, very optional, and that's all that it is. There is no validation of what you put in there, and so of course, my first thought, because I'm a huge fan of like guerrilla incorrect data, you know what I mean? Just like put that all over the internet, let the AI scoop that up, just to mess with their models, and to, in any place that you possibly can, put fake data to throw off any of the sniffers that might be looking out there to try and profile you.
So you're the reason they hallucinate. I get it.
Honestly, if I could put that on my resume, I would. I am the sole reason why AIs get it wrong about 20% of the time. Yes, that's pretty good. I would take it. But yeah, there is no reason why in this birth date field you could not just put January 1st, 1970 and be done.
Yeah, I mean, fake it till you make it, right?
Right. But that is not enough.
That's not good enough.
Knowing that information was not enough for the liberated systemd. I was gonna say group, but it is not a group. It seems
like a single person.
Yes, Jeffrey Cithrun Sardina has forked the systemd project and named this fork Liberated Systemd. Its tagline: "No surveillance, ever." And you look through the commits, and it does a pretty good job of stripping out all of the times that birth date and its little loops show up. But that's it. That's it. That's the whole tweet.
Yeah.
It's out of there. That's cool.
I mean, I don't know how necessary this is, right? Like you said, you could just fudge it and put whatever you want in there. That's an option, right?
I think that's the best option.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, but there's other options too. I mean, there's other init systems, and some of them are pretty good. Sysv init, that's been around a bit. That's pretty established at this point.
I love writing init scripts.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I mean, it's all what you're used to, I suppose. But you got Run It. That's another one. That's that's pretty popular, and also
that's what that's what Void uses, right?
Yeah, pretty sure that was what we encountered over in Void, and I know Artix was the Arch E one that had Run It. I'm pretty sure as well. So,
interesting. But I suppose in an Arch you could just use it.
Yeah, well, that's just it. You can totally do that in Debian or Arch, whatever. Build it your own way, kind of thing, and swap in your own init system. So both of those are options. And we've already heard from Midnight BSD that they're just not going to comply with this nonsense. And so and it's a BSD, so it's the init system's totally different anyway. So just
exactly. I mean,
move over onto that even. I don't know.
Is that what's going to happen? I mean, Microsoft pushed so many people away from Windows by just being overly what is the word? They advertise to people too much, right? Like once you got ads in the start menu, it's too far.
Yeah.
So they escaped to Linux, and now Linux is asking for. It's not even asking for. We're in the beginning stages of creating fields that would hold a birth date if it had one, and that's it. So now you have to leave Linux, and it's BSD time.
Yeah,
it's time for free BSD.
Yeah, if you really want to get away from it, that's probably the best way. But here's the other devil's advocate thing that I've got for this. Like, I don't necessarily blame Systemd for trying to get ahead of the curve and get some of these things in there, because if they have to comply all of a sudden real quick, shouldn't they be prepared? I mean, I guess you got some options. Maybe you set up another branch in your repo. I guess you don't have to totally incorporate it, but
yeah.
At least get ready for the eventuality that seems to be happening as far as legislation.
It's happening in so many places now. Yeah, it's happening in so many places now that, I mean, someone's going to pass it, and it may just get past judicial review, and we might just be stuck with it, right? And yeah, I mean, I do see this. I'm not a huge fan of implementing it before it's time, but I mean, I can see why you would do it.
You get a lot of flack if you're not prepared, and they can say, "Wow, Linux is so slow; they can't keep up," or the init system is not good enough to be developed fast enough or something. So I guess I don't blame them a whole lot in that. That's not necessarily taking a stance one way or the other. That's just preparation.
Yeah, I do see it. I do kind of see it that way as well. I don't know, man. What are you gonna do? You want to continue to work in the United States, right? I guess
you want it to work everywhere, not just the United States, because there's some others.
Right.
There's other places around the globe that are also taking this similar stance.
Yeah, there's a few European countries that are doing this as well. So, I mean, I don't know. The writing seems to be on the wall. But I think the beautiful thing about Linux is that, as you said, you don't have to use Systemd, but the distro that you're using, if the distro builds it for you, right, even if they're using a different init system, may eventually be compelled to do this. There are some I guess projects. There's the Ageless Linux.
Yep.
Okay. When I initially read about Ageless Linux, I read that it was going to be a distribution in and of itself as well as a repository of information for other distributions that are like-minded, in that we will never have age verification in the operating system in any part of it. But it seems that Ageless Linux is just right now, and it maybe I'm seeing it wrong, is just the repository of information right now. It's supposed to be.
There was a script I think someone developed that you could run and strip some of those things out, perhaps, or at least that was discussed as an option. I don't know if that actually came to fruition or not. But that was a thought, that they would take all of the things that they've been compiling and basically just, run this thing, and it removes all their stuff.
It's the Become Ageless shell script. And it says, is a shell script that converts a Linux system into a declared non-compliant state under California's age reporting mandate. It modifies OS identity files and installs compliance documentation. Nothing more. Right. So, okay. I guess.
So this is just you're just saying it's not compliant. It's similar to what you were talking about, in that you're reporting it wrong, or which is also not compliant, I suppose.
Right. So I don't. That doesn't read to me like it actually changes anything in the system.
Yeah,
it modifies OS identity files and installs compliance documentation. Right, like, so the it doesn't change the fact that
your own OS provider, I think it's at that point, right? That's the way. So we remove the we removed it from the actual OS provider, and now you're claiming responsibility individually.
Okay, so you're the one that gets sued?
I mean, I guess that's kind of way that goes, but I mean, if it's not public info, how are they going to know to go after you, I suppose, right?
Well, that's kind of the thing, right? I think that's part of the age verification thing. That's part of the reason why I'm saying, just put in whatever date you want. It doesn't have to be your birthday. It could be whatever you want. Because it's not like anybody's ever going to see this. This is not that.
Yeah. So I think either method is just as rebellious, and basically, you're both trying to stick it to the man.
Right. Yeah. Well, okay. So it looks like Ageless only works on Ubuntu Mint, Pop OS, Raspberry Pi OS, Debian-based systems.
Debian-based.
Yeah, so it's not going to work for your Arches, your pre-built Arches, right? Like your Endeavor OSs kind of thing. It's not going to work for your Fedoras. Or any derivative thereof, or your SUSEs, or any derivative thereof. So I guess, all right. But I suppose Debian-based systems are probably the most used in the normal people realm of, like, people that use Linux because they want to, not because they have to.
Right.
I would assume.
Yeah, if you're not putting it together, then you're probably going there, right? And so, Arch and Gentoo seem like logical places to go to some of these things, right? Because then you can put it together the way you want.
Right.
And like Gentoo takes it a step further, where you probably could leave out some compile flags so that you don't have that stuff in there too.
I would suppose a group like Gentoo, because they were quick on the anti-AI stance, right? Like, you'll never find that here.
Right.
I suppose they might also give you easy build instructions or some options to just build systemd without that stuff, right? So a project like liberated systemd may not necessarily be required. I think a lot of the distributions that are going to take offense to this kind of thing are going to make it easy for you to handle this regardless. But I mean, yeah, just, I don't know. It seems easier to just use a different init system, because I think the Venn diagram of people that did not like that do not like systemd in general also don't like the age thing as well. I think you're just racking up the reasons to not use systemd.
Yeah, this is probably one of those, right? I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
but I guess it exists, so sure.
I don't know. The vast majority of people are going to use systemd. The vast majority of people. And I wonder...
Well, pragmatism probably is king here. So, I mean, it just kind of takes hold.
Oh, definitely.
People just want things to work well and don't want to fight too hard the rushing water of what's coming down from upstream. So
it seems to me that anybody that wants to get into Linux is going to pick one of the popular ones, and all of the popular ones use systemd. I can't name
by default
outside of the Lego ones.
Mm-hmm.
I can't name a popular Linux distribution that doesn't use systemd.
Yeah, and popularity is subjective, I suppose, but yeah, the most popular are definitely systemd, right? Even Arch kind of leads you down that path.
Right. And for the people that are brave enough to do Arch, but are not deep enough to know that the birth date value exists within systemd, I mean, it would just be easy to not worry about that.
Right.
And with it being optional, I still don't, convince me, because I don't see this as the bridge
necessary.
Too far.
Yeah.
And I don't see this the same way that so many of the previous YouTube comments have mentioned. This is the slippery slope. This is step one in 100 steps of tyranny. I mean, it's optional. You can fake it. You put in fake information. I encourage us all to do so. I don't know that this is it. Maybe you could argue that this is. Yeah, can they get it past the community? Can they do something the community doesn't like and then make it happen anyway? And now the community just has to bend the knee and take the birth date value, and the next thing will it won't even make a blip in the news because they could just do whatever they want. I don't know. I don't think this is that. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe I just need a little convincing. Maybe I need to be shown the light. But as far as optional values that exist in systemd and are not making and do not have any system calls, or the operating system is not looking for this value or anything like that, I can't see any reason why it is.
Well, here's the other thing: systemd's like crazy modular, and not all the parts and bits and bobs are included in every distro that actually does use systemd. So just because it's there doesn't mean it's used either.
Well, I mean, I think in the spirit of the comments that we've been getting about the age verification thing, I think just by the sheer fact that it is there, it is already an affront to.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, not every distro uses all of the components that make up systemd, even though they use systemd. And just because this component is there doesn't mean they're all going to adopt it, I guess, either.
So in a case like that, right, would you compile all of systemd and all of its junk and throw it in your operating system and then just not call them because you don't care for them, you don't use them? Or do you actually only build the parts of systemd that go in your operating system?
Probably some of both. And yeah, so I mean, essentially, you're the Lego builder,
right? So it'd be efficient to not do so, but
I think so.
It's also easy to do so. just ignore it later.
Just ignore it. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah,
I can't imagine systemd takes up but a tiny fraction of your ISO file. When you're slapping it on a system, right?
It's one of the bigger parts, probably, but it's not. Yeah, it's not overwhelming. I doubt. No.
Right.
Like, I'll tell you, video drivers are probably one of the biggest binary blob things that get plopped down in ISOs. Yeah.
we've
100%.
been complaining about video drivers forever and ever and ever, and that's just the AMD ones, and then the ISOs that also add in the NVIDIA one. My God, it's huge.
Yeah, they're big. That's why they're so big. That's when you look at like an Ubuntu or whatever, and it's 4 and 6 gig worth of stuff. That's why. That's absolutely why.
Thanks, AMD. You're the best.
Yeah. Yep.
But as for systemd, I guess this is one death knell in a long line of death knells that I have heard for systemd. I really want to see what folks actually do about this. I don't think liberate systemd is going to be a long-term sustainable project, though I would be happy to be proved wrong on that one. But what are people going to do? So this is for those types of commenters that or people that send us emails, anybody that would give us feedback.
Yeah.
This is for you. If systemd, the birth date value, is enough to put you off from systemd altogether, what is it that you're going to do about it? And is it just going to be like me? Are you just going to ignore it? And then whenever it asks you, eventually in a year or two, the operating system, whatever you're using, is going to say, input your birth date during the installation or an update or whatever. And then I put January 1, 1970. Are you going to do that? Or are you actually going to move to something that is against the age verification?